Hey everyone, it's Rachel from Hamilton Valley, and I'm the Housing Programs Coordinator. If you were not at convention last year, or if I haven't made it out to your property yet, this is who I am and what I look like. I'm not just a random person emailing you constantly and asking for things. And because I haven't had a chance to meet everyone, and because for many, the services are brand new and a new thing that we are requiring, and a new thing that once you've had a rehab, you now have 89 services you have to do each month. We thought it would just be helpful if I made a video where you could refer back to it, and for all the visual learners, that this might just be something a little more clear than just reading all of my emails. So we're going to do this in parts. This first part is going to be about your service binder. Every single property needs a service binder. This is very helpful for everyone involved. It's helpful for you because you can have it handy, and you can, if I come and ask, if an inspector comes and asks, if your supervisor comes and asks, or even if a resident wants to know more about your services, you can pull out that binder, and you have that whole binder organized and ready to show what you do on your property each month. And it's also just very important for documentation, and for especially for inspections when they come in and you need to be able to prove what all you've done. And so I'm going to show you the best way to organize it so it's easy and it's quick and it's efficient. Because even though you send me stuff every single month, we still want it to be organized and readily available and accessible on your property as well. And so we are going to go through and show you how to set up the binder. Okay, so every single property needs a binder. I would get at least a 3-inch binder, because the more services you have, the more space all of this is going to take up. If you're a property that only has 1 or 2 services, you could probably get by with something a little smaller. But if you're one of the newer properties that has to get so many points on your LURA, you're going to want a gigantic binder. Now, I haven't put these in the rings because this is just some documentation that I have for an inspection coming up, and I'm just using it as an example. But we want it organized in the same way that we're going to organize and send off information for inspections. So you need like a title page, a cover page, and the first thing, you want to have a list of what your required services is. So whether you print off one of the service logs that I've made for you, and then you either highlight or check off the ones that you're doing if you have one that's for points, or if you have a copy of your LURA, something at the very beginning that shows what you need to do. This would also be helpful if for some reason you were not in your office and someone had a question and needed to know the services, or not that I want anyone to leave, but if you retire or you get a new job and you're not here, this will be organized and ready to go, and a new manager could come in and then quickly look and see what the services are. And then just have them organized and laid out. By each tab, you're going to have like the title page. All of these are in the online Red Book. They're fillable flyers. If you don't have the colored copies that I've sent, I think I sent them in October, you can ask me to reprint them for you. But you'll have the colorful flyer as like the first page, and then you have your documentation. The documentation is so super important. We need any kind of documentation. You can have sign-in sheets are obviously the best, but depending on the services, the documentation could be just a little different. So for home chores, you can use work orders when you do the light furniture moving or the light bulb replacement. If you are doing the trash pickup every week, you could use a sign-in sheet that you could have them initial each week that you pick up their trash. Health and nutrition. Okay, and all of the sign-in sheets. We need sign-in sheets. If you have a service and you have someone there and no one shows up, get the presenter to sign. Okay, we need documentation that we had it, we attempted to have it. The more documentation we have, the more proof we have, the more data we have to back up that we are doing our absolute best to provide these services. Social activities, all of the sign-in sheets, and try to have them dated from the most recent back, and then I think that's just easier personally, and then have them also organized by like these are social activities, but like this social activity is coffee. And so all the sign-in sheets I've been going through have been coffee. And, and now we have a party. If you have the potluck, you could even use the potluck flyer to kind of organize that in there, where we have all the potlucks and then all the sign-ins for all the potlucks. Okay, so divide it up like that. Recreational activity is also another one where there's more than one kind of activity you could use, and so have it divided up by activity. So like first, for this property, we have the creative writing first and all the sign-in sheets for that. Then we have all the arts and crafts sign-ins. Play-Doh craft. Bingo, I know that's a big one on a lot of properties. And also notice that each person is signing in for themselves, okay? We don't want the manager to come in and sign who was there afterwards because they forgot. Like, you need to get every single person to sign in. And of course people might forget, but you need to have someone's signature signing in every single time. One property does movie nights. You could have the movie night separating before the sign-in sheet. And look, they had a movie night and only 2 people showed up, but they still are going to get credit because they have the sign-in sheet proving that they had it and people did attend. Don't ever be discouraged if you have a small turnout. If someone came, they benefited from it and it was a success. Ideally, yes, we want everyone to show up, but take joy in the fact that you're providing services and the people who are taking advantage of them are getting something out of it. Okay, weekly exercise classes, all of the sign-ins, coffee and exercise, all the sign-ins. And again, how each person is the one signing in for themselves. Very, very important. Youth program and the sign-ins. Food pantry. This one's hard to get sign-ins because some people are not. They don't really want people to know that they're getting stuff from the food pantry, or because it's not super monitored depending on where you have it set up on your property. They might not be reminded to sign in. I can't remember which property told me their idea, but I love it and I'm so glad they came up with it, that they have their residents sign in if they are donating food. A lot of people that get food pantry or food bank food in bulk or in packages where they don't get to pick it out, there's a lot of stuff in there that they will not eat. And so the managers have told them, you can donate food to this food pantry and then exchange it for something that you'll actually eat. And so they have the residents sign in when they're donating food and then also sign in when they're taking food, but you don't have to specify which one you're doing. And so I think that is fabulous. If you don't have a sign-in sheet yet, get one as soon as possible and get started on it.
But at the very least, take a picture of your food pantry and have it in here, or a copy of where your sign is and that you advertise it. Okay, and then service logs. If you have some of the old ones that we were using, put those in. If you're using the new one, have those in there. It's just extra documentation showing that, you know, every single month you are thinking and you are trying to get all your services organized and accomplished. Okay, then put in your calendars. You know, especially if maybe you had a couple services where you didn't have the turnout you expected. You know, here's proof that you were advertising and you were trying to get people to come, and that your residents do know that you have all these activities. You know, so whether I make it for you or you're making it self, it can be a handwritten calendar, it can be a printed calendar, just, you know, whatever works for you. Okay, additional services. This, it can be here in the binder, or if you want to put it before you get to the service logs and calendars, that's totally okay too. This is where you put flyers, services that you might not get points for on the Lura, but are still fabulous. I know there's quite a few properties in the valley that give out rent day goodies every single month. And that's not part of their social activities, it's not part of their Lura, but every single month they're having an activity like that, and that's where this could be documented. And, you know, no, we don't get points for that, but people definitely see when you make an extra effort, and I think that's very important. And the residents pick up on that, and that is extremely important. And then, you know, the newsletters that I make and send every month, you can have those at the end. Which I haven't printed off to put in this, but those are just some ideas of how this should look. If you need any of these flyers printed, please ask me. And you also may notice that over the weekend I got a special surprise. My boyfriend proposed to me at the end of the Spartan race, and so now I am engaged. Super exciting.
Okay, so hopefully that explains service binders a little more. If you have any questions, please email me, call me. I'm much better at email than checking my voicemail. I need to work on that. But if you have any questions about how it's set up, or if you have questions about flyers that you don't have, or if you have questions just about any of it, let me know. And I can help you. But otherwise, that's the first step you need to start taking in getting your service binder ready. And the supervisors and myself will start checking them when we are at properties, just to make sure that it's ready to go for when you do have an inspection. Have a great day. Bye.